Hello everyone and welcome to episode 14 of Storytime with Mr. Haque. So we are on to the fourth story of this collection, I, Robot by Isaac Asimov. This story is called Catch That Rabbit and it follows our intrepid roboticists Mike Donovan and Gregory Powell. Previously we have seen them on their adventures in Mercury in the first story and then in deep space in the second story. This time round they are on an asteroid. They are supervising a head robot called DV5, affectionately known as Dave, and Dave has under him 6 robots who he manages so that they mine for this ore. Unfortunately, Dave and his minions are not doing the job as efficiently as they should. They seem to be working effectively when they are being supervised by the humans, but when the humans aren't watching over them, they don't seem to be fulfilling their quota. It all sounds a little bit intriguing and perhaps even a little bit scary because Dave doesn't quite understand why this is happening. Donovan stared at the preliminary outline of his field reports with weary eyes. For one thing, he was tired, and for another, what was there to report while things were unsettled. He felt resentful. He said, "Greg, we're almost 1,000 tons behind schedule." "You?" replied Powell, never looking up, "are telling me something I don't know?" "What I want to know," said Donovan in sudden savagery, "is why we're always tangled up with new type robots. I've finally decided that the robots that were good enough for my great uncle on my mother's side are good enough for me. I'm for what's tried and true. The test of time is what counts. Good, solid, old-fashioned robots that never go wrong." Powell threw a book with perfect aim, and Donovan went tumbling off his seat. "Your job," said Powell evenly, "for the last 5 years has been to test new robots under actual working conditions for United States robots. Because you and I have been so injudicious as to display proficiency at the task, we've been rewarded with the dirtiest jobs. That," he jabs hold in the air with his finger in Donovan's direction, "is your work. You've been griping about it from personal memory since about 5 minutes after United States robots signed you up. Why don't you resign?" "Well, I'll tell you." Donovan rolled onto his stomach and took a firm grip on his wild red hair to hold his head up. "There's a certain principle involved. After all, as a troubleshooter, I've played a part in the development of new robots. That's the principle of aiding scientific advance. But don't get me wrong, it's not the principle that keeps me going. It's the money they pay us, Greg." Powell jumped at Donovan's wild shout, and his eyes followed the redheads to the visiplate, where they goggled in fixed horror. He whispered, "Holy, howling Jupiter." Donovan scrambled breathlessly to his feet. "Look at them, Greg. They've gone nuts," Powell said. "Get a pair of suits. We're going out there." He watched the posturings of the robots on the visiplate. They were bronzy gleams of smooth motion against the shadowy crags of the airless asteroid. There was a marching formation now, and in their own dim body light, the rough-hewn walls of the mine tunnel swam past noiselessly, checkered with misty, erratic blobs of shadow. They marched in unison, 7 of them, with Dave at the head. They wheeled and turned in macabre simultaneity, and melted through changes of formation with the weird ease of chorus dancers in Lunar Bowl. Donovan was back with the suits. "They've gone jingo on us, Greg. That's a military march." "For all you know," was the cold response, "it may be a series of calisthenic exercises. Or Dave may be under the hallucination of being a dancing master. Just you think first and don't bother to speak afterward either." Donovan scowled and slipped a detonator into the empty side holster with an ostentatious shove. He said, "Anyway, here you are. So we work with new model robots. It's our job, granted. But answer me one question. Why does something invariably go wrong with them?" "Because," said Powell somberly, "we are accursed. Let's go." Far ahead, through the thick velvety blackness of the corridors that reached past the illuminated circles of their flashlights, robot light twinkled. "There they are," breathed Donovan. Powell whispered tensely, "I've been trying to get him by radio, but he doesn't answer. The radio circuit is probably out." "And I'm glad the designers haven't worked out robots who can work in total darkness yet. I'd hate to have to find 7 mad robots in a black pit without radio communication if they weren't lit up like blasted radioactive Christmas trees." "Crawl up on the ledge above Mike. They're coming this way, and I want to watch them at close range. Can you make it?" Donovan made the jump with a grunt. Gravity was considerably below Earth normal, but with a heavy suit, the advantage was not too great, and the ledge meant a near 10-foot jump. Powell followed. The column of robots were trailing Dave single file. In mechanical rhythm, they converted to double and returned to single in different order. It was repeated over and over again, and Dave never turned his head. Dave was within 20 feet when the play acting ceased. The subsidiary robots broke formation, waited a moment, then clattered off into the distance very rapidly. Dave looked after them, then slowly sat down. He rested his head in one hand in a very human gesture. His voice sounded in Powell's earphones. "Are you here, boss?" Powell beckoned to Donovan and hopped off the ledge. "Okay, Dave, what's been going on?" The robot shook his head. "I don't know. One moment I was handling a tough outcropping in Tunnel 17, and the next I was aware of humans close by, and I found myself half a mile down main stem." "Where are the subsidiaries now?" asked Donovan. "Back at work, of course. How much time has been lost?" "Not much. Forget it." Then to Donovan, Powell added, "Stay with him the rest of the shift, then come back. I've got a couple of ideas." It was 3 hours before Donovan returned. He looked tired. Powell said, "How did it go?" Donovan shrugged wearily. "Nothing ever goes wrong when you watch them. Throw me a butt, will you?" The redhead lit it with exaggerated care and blew a careful smoke ring. He said, "I've been working it out, Greg. You know, Dave has a queer background for a robot. There are 6 others under him in an extreme regimentation. He's got life and death power over those subsidiary robots, and it must react on his mentality. Suppose he finds it necessary to emphasize this power as a concession to his ego." "Get to the point." "It's right here. Suppose we have militarism. Suppose he's fashioning himself an army. Suppose he's training them in military maneuvers. Suppose you go and soak your head. Your nightmares must be in technicolor. You're postulating a major aberration of the positronic brain. If your analysis were correct, Dave would have to break down the first law of robotics, that a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to be injured. The type of militaristic attitude and domineering ego you propose must have as the endpoint of its logical implications, dominations of humans." All right, how do you know that it isn't the fact of the matter? Because any robot with a brain like that would, 1, never have left the factory, and 2, be spotted immediately if it ever was. I tested Dave, you know. Powell shoved his chair back and put his feet on the desk. No, we're still in the position where we can't make our stew because we haven't the slightest notion as to what's wrong. For instance, Sorry, I'll start that again. Powell shoved his chair and put his feet on the desk. No, we're still in the position where we can't make our stew because we haven't the slightest notion as to what's wrong. For instance, if we could find out what the dense macabre we witnessed was all about, we would be on the way out. He paused. Now listen, Mike, how does this sound to you? Dave goes wrong only when neither of us is present, and when he is wrong, the arrival of either of us snaps him out of it. I once told you that was sinister. Don't interrupt. How is a robot different when humans are not present? The answer is obvious. There is a larger requirement of personal initiative. In that case, look for the body parts that are affected by the new requirements. Golly! Donovan sat up straight, then subsided. No, not enough. It's too broad. It doesn't cut the possibilities much. Can't help that. In any case, there's no danger of not making quota. We'll take shifts watching those robots through the visor. Anytime anything goes wrong, we get to the scene of the action immediately. That will put them right. Well, the robots will fail spec anyway, Greg. United States robots can't market DV models with a report like that. Obviously, we've got to locate the error in makeup and correct it, and we got 10 days to do it in. Powell scratched his head. Trouble is, well, you had better look at the blueprints yourself. The blueprints covered the floor like a carpet, and Donovan crawled over the face of them, following Powell's erratic pencil. Powell said, "Here's where you come in, Mike. You're the body specialist, and I want you to check me. I've been trying to cut out all circuits not involved in the personal initiative hookup. Right here, for instance, is the trunk artery involving mechanical operations. I cut out all routine side routes as emergency divisions." He looked up. "What do you think?" Donovan had a very bad taste in his mouth. The job's not that simple, Greg. Personal initiative isn't an electric circuit you can separate from the rest and study. When a robot is on his own, the intensity of the body activity increases immediately on almost all fronts. There isn't a circuit entirely unaffected. What must be done is to locate the particular condition, a very specific condition that throws him off, and then start eliminating circuits. Powell got up and dusted himself. All right, take away the blueprints and burn them. Donovan said, "You see, when activity intensifies, anything can happen given one single faulty part. Insulation breaks down, a condenser spills over, a connection sparks, a coil overheats, and if you work blind with the whole robot to choose from, you'll never find the bad spot. If you take Dave apart and test every point of his body mechanism one by one, putting him together each time and trying him out..." All right. I can see through a porthole too." They faced each other hopelessly, and then Powell said cautiously, "Suppose we interview one of the subsidiaries." Right, okay, we're going to leave it there. So, the problem seems to be continuing. Dave and his subsidiary of 6 robots are fine when they are being monitored by the humans, and they seem to be getting on with the job, mining the ore quite well. But as soon as they're on their own, it all falls apart, and Dave doesn't seem to really have a concept of what goes wrong. It's almost like he goes into a trance, and of course they're dancing around like some silent ballet. Powell has come up with a plan to kind of get to the bottom of this. And the next part of this plan is to interview one of the subsidiary robots and find out if they know what's going on, because Dave certainly doesn't. The intrigue grows. I will see you tomorrow for the next part of this. Goodbye.